The city of Liverpool, home of Everton FC since 1878, the original club of the city. Over 130 years of footballing memories and legends such as Dixie Dean, Tommy Lawton, Dave Hickson, Howard Kendall, Alan Ball, Bob Latchford, Kevin Ratcliffe, Graham Sharp and Duncan Ferguson. Five FA Cups, the European Cup Winners' Cup, 9 league titles, 8 of which were brought back to Goodison Park. And Goodison Park has hosted more top-flight league games than any other English stadium, which shows that it is not only our historic and spiritual home, but our talisman, none of which can be brought nor recreated, certainly not outside the city of Liverpool. We have a history to be proud of, but what about the future? Do we turn our back on Goodison Park and leave the city that has shared our history for over 130 years, when we are led to believe there are no other options? There are other options. Goodison Park has seen all of our history. It can see our future. Goodison Park can be redeveloped. Goodison Park was the first purpose-built stadium, the first ground to have undersoil heating, and will once again be at the forefront of English football with an elite Premiership stadium. By enhancing the current footprint through cooperation with Liverpool City Council, a phased redevelopment of Goodison Park can deliver the critical increase in seating capacity and an expansion of the corporate hospitality facilities to the level essential for the future needs of Everton Football Club. The recent commitment from the City Council and the club's ownership of Goodison Park ensure that the required land is available. The presence of a football stadium on this site for over a century and the close proximity of our rivals' current and proposed ground confirm the suitability and accessibility of stadia in this area of the city of Liverpool. Goodison Park's place in the history of stadium design in this country is without peer. The first purpose-built football stadium and the site of the first true double-decker stand that inspired Archie Leach to repeat the format on a grander scale around all 4 sides to make Goodison Park the first stadium with 2, 3 and then 4 double-decker stands at a time when the possession of just one such structure elevated that stadium's status to the exceptional. Goodison Park had 4. Goodison Park's relative confinement had inspired innovation that resulted in a stadium that required the least work to comply with the Taylor Report and still yield a capacity of over 40,000 over 50 years after the last Leach stand was completed. There are only a handful of these classic stands surviving, and Goodison Park is the only club with 2 intact and joined together. Goodison Park is the only place where classical and contemporary stadium design can be combined. The result will be unique and celebrated, and once again cannot be bought nor recreated.
The first major English football stadium, built in 1892. Everton had the first purpose-built football stadium. 1907, first true double-decker stand. 1909, first stadium with 2 double-decker stands. 1926, first stadium with 3 double-decker stands. 1938, first stadium with 4 double-decker stands. Final phase completed in 1938. establishing Goodison Park as the best stadium in the country. In the 1940s, Everton had the largest ever attendance at Goodison Park, 78,299. 1966, Goodison Park picked as one of the 2 semi-final venues for the World Cup. In the 1970s, Evertonians witnessed the opening of the largest stand in Britain, the main stand, which had 3 tiers. In the 1980s, Goodison Park acquired new roofs on the Gladys Street and Bullens Road stands.
Today, Goodison Park is a historic stadium that is renowned for its atmosphere, described as intimidating and one of the noisiest by top football managers. The new Goodison Park can be our legacy for the future.
Multi-phase redevelopment with no loss of capacity. Increased capacity up to 60,000 if required. Improved viewing and concourse facilities. Improved hospitality and corporate areas. Improved media, official and player facilities. On-site hotel, conference, banqueting and leisure facilities. On-site parking for 500 vehicles.
Construction will be achieved through a combination of innovative funding methodology, asset disposal, commercial partnerships, council assistance and supporter involvement. The expansion will be in affordable phases, starting with a new park end stand, incorporating a multi-storey car park and a new hotel overlooking the beautifully restored lake in Stanley Park. Most of the construction work will take place behind the present stand while still in use. When complete, the capacity will rise to 48,000 and will not drop below that level during the remaining phases. This is followed by the expansion of the Bullens Road stand. This requires the demolition and replacement of the school classroom block and 28 houses. The new school building will have its own direct bridge link into the stadium. The original Archie Leach stand design will be preserved in all its glory, but with new facilities and premium grade seats added behind. The third phase is a thorough makeover for the Gladys Street stand, preserving the best of its historic atmosphere, adding a new roof with a spectacular glazed sky gallery and a large video scoreboard. At this stage, the capacity of Goodison will have risen to 54,000, about half of these being new premium grade seats, the remainder retaining the crowded close to the action character valued by so many. Some internal modifications to the main stand and the provision of a new roof will bring Goodison Park up to the standard that should be expected, whilst retaining all its valuable historic character and atmosphere. This is Phase 4. Finally, after more progress on the field, we get to Phases 5 and 6, where preparations will be made for the completion of the project, the rebuilding of the main stand to bring the overall capacity to more than 60,000. This new structure will form an arcade over Goodison Road, replacing the present commercial buildings. The Wilmslow pub will be incorporated into one of the new support towers. To ensure that there is no disruption of support on this side of the ground, the stand will be built in 2 phases, just as its predecessor was back in the 1970s. Once completed, the new Goodison Park will once again be one of the finest football stadia in the world, but it will also incorporate within its structure a living history that will quite simply be beyond comparison. As well as a new Goodison Park, there is another option.